What is up? My name is Garrett Yoker on Twitter, YOOGRRTT. Thank you so much for tuning into the Now in Rotation YouTube channel. Welcome back to another one of these label effects. And today we're going to be looking at Doja Cat. Doja Cat is somebody who, honestly, I found Doja Cat back in 2014, but I found her in a live setting. She opened up for Asher Roth on April 22nd of 2014. And at that show, I believe we had the Cool Kids, which is like Chuck English and Sir Michael Rock's play. And it was a very, 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 very cool show. It was right when Retro Hash came out. So it was like basically playing that whole set. Asher Roth, that is, full band. A good ass time. And right here, this is the best example I can find or proof of him playing in LA during that week. But yeah, April 22nd for Tuesday that week, he ended up playing Asher Roth ended up playing at the Troubadour. Doja Cat opened, and from then on, I was like, what the fuck is this? I need to know. And when you looked at songs like So High, I feel like it was very easy to just get so goddamn enthused and just kind of fall in love with this infectious, beautiful voice. And when you look back at those types of songs, and you look back at early Doja Cat, and we're talking 6 years, this is 2014, and now when you look at 2020 Doja Cat, and you just see the superstar, the pop star, topping the Billboard charts. It's interesting to take a look back and kind of look at the older tracks and some of the older styles that maybe have influenced her newer stuff, but also haven't influenced her newer stuff. Now, usually on the label effect, what we are trying to do is we are looking at artists who signed later on in their careers, and then we look at their older music prior to when they signed and find differentiations. In Doja Cat's case, I mean, she signed in 2014. She literally signed early 2014, late 2013 to Kemosabe Records, which is under Dr. Luke. And, originally when I was setting forth and had the idea for this video in comparison to the last one that I did on Jumex, I think my idea was she makes such crisp, so easy to listen to pop music nowadays with songs like You Wanna Say So. In the end, I don't know if that's representing what she originally set out to do making music. But now knowing that she's been signed since 2014, even sooner than what I was thinking. I was thinking 2016, 2018 at the latest, but no, very fucking early on, Doja Cat was in that RCA Records joint venture deal with Kemosabe, and there we go. From then on, it's just been manufactured and a part of the industry. And where that changes things is we are looking at So High, we are looking at No Police, we are looking at Right Side. There's a lot of early tracks by Doja Cat that we were going to take a look at here, but now we know that pretty much all of them had label ties, and all of them were not just her living in LA and having these connections and making SoundCloud hits on her own necessarily. There always was money and bankroll and some type of manufactured backing helping her out, and there's not too much negative to say about that. That's not really the point of this. I just think it's interesting because I was of the perspective that when So High is coming out, it was her just kind of doing her thing, and maybe this is the precipice of that happening, but going forward, everything forward, it really is just, that's what it is. But it's interesting because in 2014 she signs. Her debut album comes out in 2018, I believe. It's called Amala. There's a review, if I'm not mistaken, on this channel for Doja Cat's Amala, if you would like to go check that out. I really, really enjoyed the album, if there isn't, but I do remember just fucking with this album so much that I had to step in and at least say something. So I'll put that in the description down below. But what's interesting is when you look at very early songs that do influence this heavily crisp, skin tight pop sound that she has nowadays with, Say So and all these other hit tracks. You can look at older tracks like Candy, Purple Light, Trauma. Those all very much show you the precipice of her always being this giant pop star and always having the potential, at least, to just catapult to this crazy mainstream. And you can hear that in very, very early tracks that predate almost 6 years ago, which is insane when you think about it. But I mean, once you hear Go to Town, like go down, I think that's the point where you know that the label has the utmost faith in her. They have just she is going to be a star. There's something about that song and just the way that it differentiates itself while sounding so similar to a lot of tracks that came out. We all know that she popped off from Moo. No one can deny that. It really was the meme that got her to the place. But now that we know that Moo, which is a song that came out in 2018, was 4 years after the label was involved, it's not really like she went viral off a meme and then the label took notice 4 years later. No, it's, you know, that was always manufactured in the end. I mean, even if that was like a fucking blooper, essentially, like even if you didn't mean to make Moo, the fact that there's a label already saying yes, you can release Moo, you meant to release Moo. If that's my understanding, but maybe I'm mistaken. But there's a bunch of songs on that same album, Amala, that I brought up earlier that had songs that were released fucking as far back as 2016, 2014. Those are Candy, Roll With Us, Wine Pon You, Casual, All Nighter, etc. But essentially, just the crazy mind-blowing thing about Doja Cat is that she was signed at such a young age, at 17, to Dr. Luke and RCA. And anything that you're saying, like, you can look at Doja Cat's current hits and current success and be like, well, this is Dr. Luke just doing what he did with Kesha and just applying that same formula. And while that is correct, it's not as crazy or in your face, or it's not as it's almost an invalid argument due to the fact that this has been going on for 6 years and that this has been building up with that team for 6 years, that this success has so much rooted fruition that any like fruits of the labor that exist, it really is hard not to draw lines to hard work when you work that fucking hard and still believe in one artist, especially in an industry that's so cutthroat in the sense that you could get dropped if you don't perform within a year. So it's very interesting knowing that. And I think that also is why it constitutes us sitting here and making a label effect on Doja Cat. Even though she got signed so early, it is kind of the antithesis of what we try to look at very closely, like we did with the Jumex video previously. Let's take a look at some of these tracks that I mentioned that predate what I thought her signing date would have been, but anything past 2014 was a part of a label, so that is invalid. But still, nevertheless, let's see these. I picked 3 songs that I believe kind of highlight styles that I do not think we will see happen as much in her discography going forward. That is just, again, due to the fact that she has a sound, she has success. You got to replicate that, and you have to maintain that audience nowadays. That's kind of just what you're going to be expected to do when you have that level of success for a label. They want you to do it again. So these type of styles, I believe, could get lost. And for better or for worse, I do think that they still stand as a cool timestamp in her career that can kind of point to different things that she was doing, different things that she could have been doing. But again, just the way that the manufactured machine goes, I don't think we're going to hear these types of styles as much again. But the one that I think we could hear the most come back to is this song, So High. Let's take it away. So while this does kind of constitute that same style of easy to listen to, soothing lyrics, her vocal performance is still, you can definitely draw the lines from this to now, 6 years later. You can understand where this could be the same artist, but I feel like this slower, melancholy, kind of almost acidic feel, like you're almost like on the come up of something. You know, I don't know if we're going to get that experimental side of her exactly as it is right here. I don't think that style will necessarily exist in the future. Pushing forward, though, we have a song called No Police. But this one, it's a little interesting because she's on topic, but she's still giving that vocal performance that you definitely appreciate. But there's this level of seriousness that I don't think always comes attained in the rest of her music. Like, it's not like, she's very restrained sometimes on just kind of like relying on a lot of flashy aesthetics in a lot of her most recent hits. But this is this song No Police is a great standpoint on how she can get topical, and she can, while still singing and while still performing great melody, I think she can still get in those certain pockets of you just kind of being like, wait a second, I need to shut the fuck up and listen right now. And I appreciate that. And that's kind of a hard thing to do for a lot of female artists, is to tackle concepts and have people listen and resonate on the way that I feel like this song does capture. Very so high type feel. These songs definitely have similar pacing to them, but I just think this is another understated style that I don't really think that Dr. Luke is looking at her like, hey man, like we just need to sell records because you're a fucking star right now. And at the top, like we don't necessarily need to fill out one of these 10 tracks on this next album with this type of like slow ass melancholy feel. Like I want you fucking out there getting these people hyped, you know? And I think that this still stands as something that could exist. I mean, it has 16 million plays, but I can't stress enough how long it probably took for that to exist. I mean, this thing's been out for 6 years, so I would argue that since her 2018 pop off, a lot of songs in the past were looked at and given a lot more traffic than they were at first. But that just goes to show how much her music can stand up over the years. So I mean, it's very, very cool. I think the best example though is this song with Left Brain called The Wave, and I think that's the one that we should look at, because this one she's just spitting, if I remember correctly. And this music video used to fucking get me all fucking hyped back in the day. It only has 9,000 plays, but I fuck with this music video hard. So I just think that this song is something that will definitely show what she will not be doing much of in the future again, and that is just spitting to spit.
Wave. 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 3 times now I'm seeing waves. It's hot in LA. Sun got the waves. Remy or Yaki, girl, by the new wave. We make them jump like a sake bomb wave. Cocky as fuck, cause your shoddy don't fade. No filter in my twist up or my niggas, that's the wave. Goggles on with flippers like, bitch, you about to wave. Hope you can swell.
Like, we're not gonna hear much of that. Like, let's just be honest. Like, but she can spit, and that's just another part of her repertoire, and that's just another thing that she was doing back in the day. Even though this is from 2018, I still think that there's no reason to. What's cool about the label effect with Miss Doja Cat is that she has continuously improved, continuously worked, and as you can see, she was signed back in 2014, and a lot of people didn't find out about her music and her talent until 2018, and since then she has capitalized to these crazy degrees, controversies and all. But no matter what, I don't think that we can look at Doja Cat and be like, this has not worked out with your label. And the effect of the label since coming into the picture is, I think it's nothing but a positive in the end. I really do. I don't think that, again, you can look at that success and deny that that is one deserving when you just look at how hard she's worked over the past few years, how many songs she has made, how many styles she has implemented. But again, Dr. Luke, he's a fucking weirdo, and I fucking hate that guy, but Jesus Christ, he can definitely make female artists shine harder than they ever have. And I don't know, it's a weird ass talent to have, but nevertheless, what do you think of Doja Cat's career since the label has come in? What did you think of this video? Let me know in the comment section below. I really do appreciate all the support. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Garrett, at YoGarrett on Twitter, YoGarrett, Instagram as well. Now INROTATION on those 2 platforms as well. Take care of yourselves, and that is all, you beautiful folks.